Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Saved by the bell. Well, I will take you through who Telus Health is as a company acting worldwide, and what we do, the countries we operate in, etc., etc. And again, feel free to ask. So something more about Telus. Originally, and we still are in Canada, actually, founded in Canada as a telephone company, and for a couple of decades already, we are active in more different lines of business, all tech-oriented, we must say. So we are in the agro-tech. We still are in the telephone business. And for a couple of decades already, we founded Telus Health because, of course, data plays an important part in the world of health and well-being nowadays. So worldwide, we are active in over 200 countries that we support, and over 67 million people using our services on the globe. Over 100,000 counselors, psychologists, specialized professionals work with Telus, and we do so in over 55 languages. So, like I mentioned already, founded in Canada, great presence in the US, in UK, in APAC, and the last couple of years, we really put our feet on the ground in the EMEA region. For example, in the Netherlands, a couple of years ago, we bought companies like Ascender and Koers Psychologists. And for example, in Germany, last year, we bought another health and well-being platform called Humanu, and that we will now present under the name of Telus Engage, which I will mention later on. So there is different health and well-being portals going on. So this is something about Telus. Well, for example, in Canada, we act as a healthcare provider, also in a physical way. So we go out there in rural Canada to help people with healthcare. Of course, we're talking about our EAP, our employee assistance programs, which means that we serve 24/7 best-in-class counseling. So that means that all over the globe, you get immediate support by phone from our professionals in counseling. Might be psychologists, might be about mental or physical issues, social work, etc., etc. We do so virtual, so through secure video or telephone counseling sessions, but we also do it in person, so one-to-one in a physical way. For example, in the Netherlands, we have like 24 locations where we speak to people just in person on various locations. And of course, not only in the Netherlands, we do so around the globe also with our counselor network. So something more about the way we support employer and employee. When it comes to the co-workers, we support them with emotional support for all types of things that might happen in your life and you might suffer from, for example, anxiety, depression, stress management, bereavement, etc., but also, for example, about sleep hygiene. So all that might come in your life as an employee, we can help you turn things around. Our counselors will help try and help you with finding the right help needed, or support you with the help when they can give it to them themselves. It's not alone the employees we support; it's also the managers that we can support. So we support management by supporting them, how to support co-workers, the employees, with dealing with all kinds of problems on the workplace, or in their private life. It doesn't really matter. We provide work-life services such as, well, the everyday support, elder care, childcare, matching, legal or financial services, etc., etc. Phase of life issues that you might suffer from, questions you have about your career, etc., etc. All those type of services we can provide all over the globe ourselves or our extended partner network. And of course, there was a question about this also, critical incident support. We provide this in person, for example, on the work site. So on a group level, or it might be on an individual level also, all types of traumas that may occur or you may suffer from. We are very specialized in this part of the business, and it's always tailored support, right? I mean, when something really critical comes up, it's always a tailored approach, and it's not just that we are around when the critical incident occurs or just a couple of days later, but we also offer our post-incident follow-up. How we do so? Well, on a global level, I mentioned, and it might vary, of course, per country or per part of the world that you live on. So it's also here always tailor-made. We complement the current and existing health solutions that most of the time, of course, are in place. So we really want to top up those. We can reach a higher engagement with our well-being program through our Telus Health One app, or later this year, the Telus Health engagement portal. And we try to ensure that well-being will be a part of everyday life for every staff member of PON all over the globe. So the way we do it is, of course, through the portal or the app with curated content, active tools, health and well-being assessments, surveys, etc., etc. And I will show them to you later on when I demo the portal to you. And very important, of course, nowadays, everything that employees do on a portal with the app, etc., etc. It gives us data, and this data we can turn into insights with our analytics. Of course, it's very important nowadays. And there is really a treasure there in all the data that we can provide. Of course, we can drive awareness of the DUI strategy. Like mentioned, we support leadership, the management, and we serve critical incident and trauma support. Would you choose Telus? What is the world going to look like then in the first couple of weeks? That's, of course, one question. Well, we think it's very important that we learn about your context, the way things work in your PON country you operate in. So we put some time, of course, first in discovery and planning the rest of the timeline. Because we want the app to be introduced or the portal to be introduced, of course, we need some time to set up and network configuration. And most important, very important, is the communication strategy. Because one of the things, of course, is how can we try and engage people and have people come back to the portal and use the app, not just once, not just register once, but come back every time. So we get a higher engagement, and then we get more data. And with this data, we get better insights, of course, and better analytics. So for this, the communication strategy is really important, and you can see that we take a lot of time for this. And of course, it's not just us, it's you in every operating country from PON, because it's also very important, of course, to speak the local, and not just the local, but also the cultural language, because health and well-being might really means something different in Germany than it does in even the Netherlands or Belgium, let alone in the US or in Brazil, right? So very important that we have this communication strategy in place for every single country on a cultural level. Then, of course, we need to do some testing. We do some pre-launch review if things all work well. And then we go to launch day, and we're going to launch the well-being app, the portal, and of course the EAP services, because we think it's, of course, very important that every staff member knows about the EAP program, and that they feel free to use it, and that they know that it's all confidential and anonymous, etc., etc. So communication, as you mentioned, is really key here in any EAP strategy, we think.
So Wouter, I raised my digital hand there on this slide. Because if you can go back to the last slide, the stage of setup network configuration, you say we're going to really look into the different cultural differences, like on regions. Does it also mean that the setup of the Telus solution can be like sort of customized to like local settings?
Yes, in a way it does. Of course, the good thing about the Telus Health platform is that it's a global, uniform experience. So, for example, content, etc., can vary per country, because of course content needs to be cultural relevant, so local relevant. So the way it works is uniformized on a global level, but to your question, it can vary per country when it comes to content, when it comes to what you want to show to the staff, or what you do not want to show to the staff. Do you want to put in place, for example, challenges, or in one country, or do you think they might not work in, for example, Germany? So you want them not to be shown on the portal. So yeah, you can choose per country what you want to show to the staff or whatnot.
Perfect. So that also means that we should have a network of like admins per either country or region, so to say, to manage that content. That's something that we would do ourselves, so to say.
That's possible. Yeah. So you can do that per country, and this is very important, of course, because as an employee value proposition, most of the companies we work with, they want to have this uniformized in a way, but of course, again, it can differ per country when it comes to especially the content that is being put in place. Does this answer your question?
Yes, it does. Sorry, I
just so if you want to raise my attention, then you should speak up. Thank you. Okay, and this is all average, of course. So when we start working together, it takes about 12 weeks to launch day. Something more about communication. I mentioned. So again, the launch is very, very important because you can only do it once. And then again, of course, it's not just the launching material. You have to be relevant through the customer journey always. So to get a higher utilization, communication throughout the whole period is, of course, very important. We have specialized communication for managers also. Managers, of course, need to understand, we think, how the portal works and how they can provide information in their one-to-ones if they might have those, and tell the staff about the possibilities, of course, of what's on the portal. It's very easy because we also provide newsletters that you can customize. Again, Johan, you can customize them per country here. So these newsletters are being provided on the portal and might help, of course, to get more attention for the portal also. Then we work with a well-being calendar. Again, per country here, you can choose what might be the relevant sessions put on the well-being calendar for your own country and which are less interesting maybe. There's loads of content here to help you, and you can still customize it if you want with the admin users. And then we provide digital toolkits for all types of topics, like for example burnout, but neurodiversity is a topic that really is well read nowadays. So with these toolkits, we can help you gain the traction with the staff to use the portal and the well-being. So communication is key. Of course, what is the reason that we are talking to each other? Because we think that providing our staff, the PON staff with EAP and a well-being portal can help improve engagement. And well, we as Telus on a global scale have an industry-leading engagement. Almost 1 out of 2 staff members use the app on a monthly basis, and even 76% use them weekly. So this is very important, of course, not just to connect once, just to show people around what the portal can do. No, what you really want to do is have this high engagement rate, certainly when it comes to the portal, but also when it comes to the EAP services. Every staff member, in our opinion, should really know that it's possible to reach out and not to wait before your issues become even worse, right? Especially when it comes to mental well-being. It's a very good and wise thing to reach out in a very early stage before things get worse and you might have to report ill. Talking about that, it helps reduce the health risk. So users' experience shows that the 16 to 26 reduction in risk of developing lifestyle conditions, and this is really very huge, so to say, and it's very important to adapt to this with all the other things that you have put in place when it comes to health and well-being of the staff members, that this also the digital portal and the EAP services can help to reduce health risks. And thus they can help reduce absenteeism, of course. We have some case studies performed with clients, and they showed up to a 47% reduction in work days lost as compared to previous years when it comes to using the well-being solution. And like we mentioned already, it's very important to create insights and strategies. We have our insight dashboard that you can use and see real time the reports and the insights on what are people doing on the portal, what kind of programs are they using, what risk assessments are they doing, etc., etc. So yeah, it can be a very valuable source when it comes to understanding the health and well-being issues in your company. And talking about the data, we provide a total well-being index on a mental, physical, social, and financial level. So again, it's very important that we try and engage as many people with PON as possible to use the EAP services and, of course, also the portal, because thus we collect a lot of data, all GDPR proof, like mentioned before. And in this way, you can get access to the total well-being index that shows you what's your score, and we can do so per country also, and on a global level overall. And thus we can show you your score when it comes to the mental, physical, social, or financial well-being of your staff. And of course, during the time, you can see if you get better figures out of it when more people use it. I will tell something more when we do the demo, something more about the insights. It helps you, of course, to make informed decisions and unlock the potential of people. All beautiful words, of course, but in reality, in practice, it really works this way, because when you know more about what your people are really at, what they really need, and you as an employer, as PON, can help to provide this, then it helps improving the well-being and in this way the lives of your staff members. I think that's enough for now when it comes to the analytics. I mentioned already the strategy portal. We provide this to, well, most of the time, of course, HR staff. We give you, of course, a training how to use it and how you really should read all the insights that comes from it. You can benchmark when you have enough data, for example, one country to another, or one plant to another, or one age group to another, or well, etc., etc. And you can do it real time. You can see how results were last quarter, last year, last month, etc. And like I mentioned, it's available by country, or you can have an overall global look on a PON level.
Is there also availability on different organizations within PON?
You can really tailor it the way you want. So if that's what you want us to tailor it, if you want to tailor it on an organization level, then yeah, we can do so. So you could do PON bikes or PON automotive, or well, whatever organization you would want to see, and we can build it that way. One thing, of course, we have to be GDPR proof. So we need, of course, a certain amount of data before we can really look into it on an organization level. So it depends a bit on how large organizations are.
And how big should they be?
Really depends, again, also on the utilization rate. The minimal N we use is 15.
15, okay.
So, and the way we organize it is mental well-being, physical well-being, social and financial. So the bigger, the better when it comes to data, of course. So the minimum that we need to be able to report is 15.
Okay. Thank you.
More questions on this?
Is this also, this is the employer portal, correct?
Yeah, this is the employer portal. Yeah, so this is not something the employee would see typically. It's something that the employer, most of the time the HR department, would use next to other sources, of course, like absence, sickness, stuff like that. Yeah.
And is the employee able to create their own self-service account from an employee view?
They will, yeah, but only, of course, on their personal level. So, and that's what we call the well-being score. I will show you when we do the demo. Yeah, good question.
Sorry.
No, great question. Thank you. Other questions? Otherwise, I will proceed here. So again, you can share the reports to, well, whoever within the organization on a PDF, for example. If you want to talk about this quarterly or yearly or whatever, it's all possible. But no, it's very good to know that it's a real-time dashboard that you can tap into anytime when you want to. And then last slide before we go to the demo, to show you all the different languages that the portal is available in. I've checked with the headcount that Johan shared, and I think most of the languages within PON we got covered. So I'll stop sharing here. Some more questions now for this moment.
Is it really languages or also the location where they're in?
These are the languages that the portal is available in. But of course, we are a global company, and I've checked with the headcount that Johan provided. We can provide all our services in all PON operating countries. Sorry. And for example, in the UK, in the US, Canada, etc., in the Netherlands, now also in Germany, in France, in Italy, in Spain, we have our own Telus Health employees, right? And where we do not have them, we work together with our partner network. And I can talk about this some more later on if you want.
Perfect. Thanks.
Can you share a little bit on like the type of clients that you're working with today?
Sure. On a global level, of course, as you can imagine, we work with all industries, with small and medium enterprises, but for sure with all the large corporates. It's tech companies, it's manufacturing, it's oil and gas, all around the globe. It's really every industry. So it's hard to highlight one industry, for example, that we do more business with. It's all the large logos worldwide also.
It also sounds that you have a good distribution then on like white collars, blue collars kind of setup then.
Yeah, because this was one of the questions, I think, when it came to engagement. Do we engage more with white collars or blue collars? It's not literally 50-50, right? I mean, it depends a bit on the country, but we are used to all types of working with all types of employees. And some stereotypes, sometimes we hear like, oh, but blue collars, they feel less comfortable to speak up about their mental well-being. I can say that's not what we see on a global scale. Of course, again, because we operate in so many countries, there are different cultures and different countries where this might well be the case. But on our global portfolio, we really do not see a very big difference, even when it comes to age groups, right? I mean, again, we have like 5 generations working on the floor within some companies. I don't know how it is within PON. And of course, every generation has their own challenges. So yes, you could see that Gen X, for example, works different from Gen Z or whatever generation. But the good thing working globally and with, well, don't forget, 67 million people that we may help, that we see all kinds of things. Yeah.
Great, thanks. Chelsea has a question.
Yeah, I was wondering what your presence in the United States looks like and how many psychologists you might have available at any one time to service our people in our time zones.
Yeah, that's a great question. I can follow up with you after the presentation also with the exact numbers. I have an Excel spreadsheet that tells us even per state, I think. And the most important really, of course, is the time zone. And I don't know if you are in California, Chelsea, but California, of course, is a bit different from the rest of the United States when it comes to some topics. But I'm happy to provide you with the detailed info on that, the number of psychologists and the time zones, etc., after the presentation, if you would like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Elizabeth.
What's the average percentage that you're seeing for participation in the program?
Yeah, again, here, of course, it really is different per country, but overall, on a global level, I would say it's some 4 or 5% of all staff.
Okay. And then is this? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say, is this benefit available to not only the employee but also their dependent family members?
Yeah. So family members living in the same household can also use the service. And I'm glad you raised it because this is something, even how hard we communicate, you know, it's hard, very hard to have family members use the service also. And it's so important, right? I mean, younger children are facing a lot of challenges when it comes to well, substance abuse, mental issues, typically after COVID, right? This has really become more important, I would say. So one of the things we really try when we communicate together is to also engage the family members with this. And it works the other way around also. I mean, easy and maybe a bit of a stupid example, right? But if you, as an employee, try to quit smoking, it doesn't really help, of course, if your partner back home continues smoking, right? I mean, everybody understands. So in this way, it's very important that we also include the family members when it comes to communication. And as to your question, communication again is key here when it comes to the utilization, right? If we do not communicate, you will see that the utilization level, the percentage will drop under 2, maybe under 1%. And that's not what we want, because, you know, if we want to collect data also and insights, then of course it really helps that the utilization of the EAP services is on the highest possible level.
Thank you.
Okay, more questions?
Well, just to check, because I think you mentioned that the participation right now is was 4 or 5%. Did I hear it right? Because I thought on the slides I saw a higher percentage.
Yeah, and that's from the digital. That's from the portal. So
Okay.
From the digital, the app and the portal. So it's a great question actually, Johan, because we really want any company to understand, if you reach 4 to 5% of your staff that will use the EAP services, that's a very, very decent percentage. Sometimes we see it higher, up to 10%, but never up to 40 or 50%. Never. So that's really the portal, so the digital environment. And when it comes to the EAP services, I think around 5% would be a very decent percentage.
That's the one-on-one meetings with psychologists, like that kind of.
Yeah, well, that's all the people that use our EAP services. So people who are reaching out 24/7 through phone or through chat in some countries also, and that reach out to us and say, "Hey, listen, I need some help." So that's for the counseling part.
5%. Okay, I thought it was a low number, but.
We get this reaction a lot of the time. Yeah. So well, if you and of course you are speaking to other providers as well. I think any provider that will tell you that it's over 10% that they do for counseling is way out is ballpark. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah. Jacobine?
How do you challenge the participation? Because it starts with a platform, then there's employees that do the subscription to this platform. I guess you challenge them to stay aligned in the platform. So first month they are still enthusiastic maybe. Then either they need help or they are a bit lost participants.
Yeah.
So if you measure the 47% participation, that's maybe over the first year. I don't know. I saw the division in months and weeks and whatever, but I don't know for how long you have been doing this. What is the participation rate after 3, 4, 5 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. Very important because again, it's communication, but not just communication. The portal, the app, really has to have a good AI tool behind it and a great algorithm actually. And we do put a lot of effort in this because to put it simple, it has to be fun to go to the portal and to engage with it, right? So we use really the same techniques as all the social platforms would do, right? all the tips and tricks to have you come back to the portal. And we want to give a really personalized experience. So there is intelligence behind the portal that if you use the portal, you will notice that the content, for example, is still a bit broad. But then by the clicks you do on the portal, the things you do, the things you read, the podcasts you listen to, the videos you watch, etc., the algorithm starts to identify really what you're interested in, and will provide you, of course, with all this type of content that the portal thinks you might be interested in. So this is very important, and this differs one portal from another, I must say. And to be honest, for that reason, later, I mentioned already, we bought the company Humanu last year, Germany, Berlin-based company. They are really the best when it comes to provide engagement, even better than we have at this moment in the Telus Health One portal. So if you would start work with us, one of the first questions from us to you will be, will you really want to drive engagement? Is that the most important? Or do you want to have this global experience? Because then you can choose for the Telus Health One portal or for the Telus Engage portal. So to your question, how does engagement work after 2, 3, 4, 5 years? The key driver here is to get this personalized experience, and that needs a lot of intelligence, and of course nowadays artificial intelligence. You're on mute, Jacomine.
And an additional question is, the content that is on the platform is managed by you, or is it, can we influence on the content per region or per, and I'm going further, is it possible to add on eventual suppliers we work with in your platform and then have them protected for PON only, or is it just your general suppliers that we are using?
Great question. When it comes to the content, now it is local and cultural relevant content. So it means that the content library varies per country also. So for example, in the Netherlands, we will provide a different type of content at the moment than we would in the US or in Brazil or in Germany, etc., etc. Then another question I think you had was, can we put in some content from our own? Yes, you can. I will show you on the news feed, for example, you can highlight some content, your own content, that might again differ from one country to another. Like for example, if you have the I don't know what week in the Netherlands that nobody cares about in the US, for example, then you will just highlight this for the Netherlands and not for other countries, and vice versa, of course. Yeah. And then your last question. I understand your question when it comes to the provider network, for example. We can do so with the Telus Engage portal that has a lot of flexibility behind the scenes to connect through APIs all types of content, all types of challenges, but also your provider network, for example. And within the Engage network, you could also book an appointment, for example, with a coach of Telus, but could also be a coach of one of the providers in the Netherlands, for example. Yeah. So it does have this flexibility.
Thanks.
I have another question. I'm sorry.
Great.
Sorry
Oh, no, I love it.
content. Does the service offer like live webinar trainings?
In the Telus again, in the Telus Engage app, which is just an app also, yeah.
Yeah.
We do have this month the weekly mindfulness sessions or coaching sessions you can tap into, or those type of sessions. So yes, and we do have them now, but then under the label or the brand Humanu, which will be Telus Engage in a couple of weeks' time.
And as an organization, say for instance, if Pond Bike wanted to schedule something through the EAP program in itself, are we able to schedule and coordinate with one of the social workers to hold a program specifically for our companies or operating companies?
Yes, if you would. Yeah, this I must say this is an extra, so this would be an extra coaching session for a group, or so it will come at an additional cost. I say upfront, right? But it is possible. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I have
Great
a
question, Joel.
question.
Yeah.
I had a question on the assessments. How long does it typically take someone to complete those assessments?
I can show you on the demo.
Okay.
There, the time is indicated, and the amount of questions of the assessments are indicated as well. So I can show you.
Okay.
And maybe that's a good time if I look at the clock to go through the demo now. And please keep asking your questions, of course. Yeah. So what I'm showing you now is the first screen, and I show it now on here on my laptop, but it works, of course, also on your mobile phone or your iPad or whatever device you prefer to use. And this is the Telus Health One app. So this is the global experience, right? And like I mentioned in a couple of week times, we have this other option, the Telus Health Engage, where engagement numbers are even higher than we achieved with our Telus One portal. So I will just take you through the way it's being built, right? So here you see the home section, just an overview of the self-care programs you can do, the well-being assessments. I will show you, and here's just the content that you can put on the first page, right? So this is very broad, all types of topics like you see when it comes to health habits, when it comes to grief or loss, etc., personal issues. So this is really the home section. Here you go to the news feed, and here you can give recognition to other staff members if you want to, and you can put a new post. I have a warm welcome for you all. But here, like I mentioned already, you can also put a news message, a news feed from, hey, this is the, I don't know what, awareness week, and be aware that PAN does, I don't know what you do in the health awareness week for example, the Netherlands or the US or Brazil or Germany or whatever. So here you just can share some news posts, and you can share your own content here as well. When I go to the well-being section, then you see here you can do and put up some challenges, some personal challenges, but you can also build some group challenges if you want to. So the 100-day step challenge, etc., changing habits, stuff like that. You can also go directly to the Care Now programs. So these are our programs for the employees to follow when it comes to, for example, working from home effectively, when it comes to stress management, mindfulness, etc., Here you will see your personal health score if you do the health checks, the assessments, and you can also go to the assessment part and then do them there. And this was one question that I don't know who asked a couple of minutes ago, but here you can see this is the shortest one when it comes to financial management, the type of questions that you will be asked. So, for example, do you have emergency fund when you need it? Well, no, and I don't think it's a priority for me. How would you describe your approach to credit card and other bill payments? Then I say, well, most of the time I pay them and the minimum amount. Do you save money for retirement, etc., etc. Well, I guess working for PON, you do so. And when it comes to your cash flow, how do you act when it comes to that? Well, I live from paycheck to paycheck. And how would you describe your current level of financial debt? Well, I have some debt, but I try to lower it. And then is your organization, does it offer a retirement savings plan? Working with one, I assume you do. Okay. Of course, this is very random. And here you can see that I have a problem when it comes to my financial health. My health is, well, a bit at risk. And here are the summary and things that are going great and things that you can do better. And you can always retake it and see how it went then. If you do the complete health score, all questions, then when we think it would take some 15 minutes. And if you did so, then you will see here the number. It's always positive, so we will never give you 10 out of 100, for example. It's not very great to see that score. You can do, if you did the assessment, some challenges. I showed them already. And here we go to the section of the Care Now programs. So if you do the assessment, if you do all the assessments, then you will be advised to take a Care Now program. Here you can see we have 17 programs, mind and body. And here you can see all the different kind of topics that you can use. For example, if you have a problem with substance use, you want to quit smoking, improve your sleep or your work-life balance, financial well-being that we did the assessment, nutrition, etc., etc. If you go through a program, it works like this. It's always a short explanation. Then you can join the course, and then it shows how the course is being built, and you don't have to follow the whole course at one time, but you can do it in your own way, follow your own path, and every time you see the amount of time it takes to go through it. And very important, one of the things that when it comes, for example, like financial stress, after filling the assessment, you think, okay, I might need help. You can always push the button, get help now. Now it says connect with us, but it will show the local and toll-free number that you can reach out to one of the counselors. So whenever and wherever you are in the program, you can always 24/7 reach out to one of the counselors and get immediate help.
How often do people choose to push the help button?
Well, this is, of course, like I mentioned before, how many people use the counseling services. It really depends from company to company and from country to country, but overall on a global level, it's almost 5% that use the counseling services. So, and this is the answer I can give you, because pushing the button shows the telephone number, the local free number. But in some countries, we also give the opportunity to get access through chat, for example. So you can push the button and you can choose to either chat or use the telephone number.
And this is included in the counseling services?
This is included in the counseling services, yeah. So what you will get, what we quoted, is the EAP services. And the EAP services also include what I'm showing you now in the demo, the digital solution, the portal, the Care Now programs, etc., etc. And, well, of course, where you reach out to the counseling services.
And is that to follow, can we follow that back in the data that are provided after a certain period of time?
Of course, it's very important to point out that it's all anonymous and confidential.
Mm-hmm.
So we will report on, of course, the utilization of the services. And yes, when we again GDPR approve, we can provide data and insights when we have enough data. So over 15. So we can, if we have like over 15 people who use the counseling services with mental problems or with substance abuse, stuff like that. If we have enough data, then we can report on it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
And then again, this is the reason why we think it's so very important, of course, to tailor a very good well-being program and a well-being portal with AI behind it. And in this way, we will be able to provide a personalized experience. And in that respect, people will come back to the portal because they like what they do and they like what they can do on the portal. And communication, it's very important in one-on-ones, in communication from PON, that you always will highlight the possibility to use the EAP services, the counseling. Okay, so that's on the challenges, the care now, the health assessments, etc.
Can I have one more question as well, Wouter, on
sure.
because there's a phone number here, right?
Yeah.
And for documentation, it wasn't completely clear, but is it only telephone calls, or is it also possible to have like more Zoom or like face-to-face kind of online sessions?
The first outreach that an employee will do is through telephone or chat. And the way it works then is that we do a triage, right? So first we want to get clear, is it important or is it urgent? Because of course, a critical incident, for example, is urgent and we have to act directly. Sometimes people, are a danger to themselves or to their direct environment. Then of course we have to act directly. But it could also be the case that someone reaches out saying, hey, I haven't been feeling very well lately. I want to talk to a psychologist. Then we always ask, do you want this right away? Is it urgent, or can it wait like 2 days? And then we make this appointment, and then we can talk to persons also one-to-one in person. So not just through video or telephone, but in person is also possible. And actually, it's a very important feature. For example, in the Netherlands, I know that there are competitors that do offer online only, digital only, and in our experience, especially in the Netherlands, over 40% prefers still at least one counseling session in person, so face to face. So it's a good thing that we can provide this.
And can you also see who you're going to talk to? Or
Sorry?
decide? Can you see who you're going to talk to, or decide who you wish to talk to?
This option is available in, now today Humanu and later in Telus Engage. So then you can see like photos from a psychologist, etc., etc. And you could be able to choose one, and that sounds fantastic, right? But our experience really is that people do not really care about if it's sometimes they do and then they can choose, but gender or age or whatever, most of the time they just want someone to help them to solve their problems. Yeah.
And like specific maybe that they're better in like financial issues or have specific knowledge. Is that also there?
Yeah, and the way it works is that our psychologists are always mastered, skilled professionals, right? and permanent education. And like 70% of all the topics that they can deal with. Of course, especially when it comes to, for example, financial or legal support, then we would refer to other people from our own provider network that are specialists in that part. So that's the reason, of course, why we first do this triage, this intake, because we really want to learn about the context. What is the best support needed here that we can refer to? And 75% of the time, it would be the master school professional, health professional, or a psychologist themselves.
And my last question is also like, if you want to book a session, can you also do that without any chats or without the phone call?
Yes, we will. We do have the booking available in a lot of countries already. I must admit, today not yet in the Netherlands, but when we will launch the Engage, the Telus Engage portal, then it includes also this feature to book a session yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
And in addition, you didn't ask, but I will tell you, we also recently participated in a new company that does AI coaching. And the company is called Unmind. You can check it. You can check their website. We did not buy the company, but we invest in it. And Unmind has a virtual, so an AI coach counseling, and the results are really stunning. I really cannot think of another word I can use. So, and it feels a bit uncomfortable maybe that people are being helped by an AI coach, right? But then again, really the results are stunning. So we definitely will introduce Unwind, this feature, the AI coach, within the coming months somewhere in the portal also as an option.
Could you please share their website? I tried to look them up, but couldn't find them.
Okay, yeah, I will afterwards. Yeah, and I will share some more information on it, and especially, of course, on the AI coaching. Okay, so we went through the well-being section, the care programs, the health assessments that people can take, the challenges, and well, here's something more about the content. Here you can see we've got content on family, on health issues, on life, money issues, when it comes to work, etc., etc. So yeah, there's really a lot of content in there, and again, it's always local and cultural relevant. So it varies really per country, especially, for example, when it comes to legal issues. I think there's a question.
Yeah, and I think it fits a little bit of what you're talking about, but let's say, because luckily it's not as frequent as it used to be right after COVID, but let's say somebody's threatening harm to themselves or their coworkers, and so we ask them to engage with your product. Is there any time in which your people would communicate back to us about a perceived threat to our organization or a perceived threat back to this individual?
Yeah, well, this is a great question, actually, because I mentioned already that it's always, I said, anonymous and confidential. There is one exception, and that's it. This is the one, really. So when people are threatening to harm themselves or their direct environment, be it at home or in the workplace, then of course we act immediately. And when it would be a work-related issue or related to the workplace, then we'll share info on that. Still, always GDPR proof. So you know, here is the balance between what matters most: the rights of one individual or the life maybe of hundreds of hundreds of individuals, right? So this is the only situation we breach our confidentiality.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Thanks. Okay, so a lot of articles, as you can see, also podcasts. You can subscribe to the newsletter, have access to the toolkits, etc., etc. Here we have the video section. Well, for example, mindfulness, all types of things that might matter to you, walking, etc., etc. So, well, the content is really huge, and again, it's local and cultural relevant, which means that it can be different from one country to another. Okay, well, of course, you will understand I cannot be extensive when it comes to showing you all, but I think you've got a good impression now of what the portal, the app can do, and actually it's really easy, right? People can reach out, engage with the portal, read some content or view some content, do some health assessments, and then work in their own pace, really, through the Canal programs and improve in this way their health and well-being. I will pause here. If there are no questions, there is a question. Yeah.
So maybe I've missed it, but there was before a question about online webinars or interactive sessions.
Yeah.
And I cannot see it here. Is it part of it, or?
No, this you cannot see it on this portal, so that's correct, because what I'm showing you now is the global portal, so to say. So the Telus Health One portal.
Mm-hmm.
And the feature you're talking about is in the Telus Engage portal, the former Humanu portal, which we will introduce in a couple of weeks' time. So, and it is included in that portal, the other portal.
And is that this one will be gone then? Will be a totally new?
No, we will have two portals, and really the customer can choose which one they will prefer. And it really depends on, do you want to have this global uniform way of communicating when it comes to your employee value proposition, or do you really want to have the highest and engage rates? And do you think that the features you are talking about, do you think they are important to you? Then you can choose the other portal.
Okay. Is there a price difference? Or maybe it's not my question to ask, but I'm curious.
No, there will be no price difference. No. I really don't know how the world of our portals will look like within, let's say, 5 years, right? I mean, I cannot promise that we will still have two different portals. When I talk about Unmind, for example, the AI coaching, at the moment I cannot tell you if it will be in both portals, or in one portal it will be, and in the other portal it will not. Digital health is really a fast-paced industry, to say the least. So it's been just 6 months that we bought Humanu, and in a couple of weeks' time we will release it under the Telus brand, right? So I really couldn't tell you at the moment what it looks like within 6 or 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I just can share with you, in all honesty, the way it is today. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
More questions on the portal? If not, I will stop sharing.
Yes, Chelsea?
Yeah, my question was sometimes I'll sign up for different systems, and then after the fact, as I start using it more, realize that there are costs associated with different things that I want that I didn't quite realize at the time that I signed up. So are there any additional costs that we should be aware of? For instance, if does seeing someone in person, does insurance start to kick in the United States, or is it covered by the cost of the program? Just, is there anything we should be aware of?
Yeah, great question, because I am very well aware that most of the time it works that way, right? So I can share it with you in all honesty. What you will get for the price pattern we offered is the Telus, well, the Telus portal, be it the Telus Help One or the Engage portal. It also includes the one-to-one counseling in person when needed. Yeah, and like I said, in the Netherlands, like 40% of the times, at least one session is provided in person, because that's the way apparently it works in the Netherlands. People, when they reach out for especially mental health, favor really an in-person experience, right? So it's not that we push like do it only digital because that's cheaper, right? Than in person, which you will understand it is. It's all included in the price. So it's the tech, it's the portal, and it's the counseling. And what we quoted is a clinically appropriate pricing model, which means that the counselor, most of the time a psychologist, really gives advice and decides, okay, if you reach out to me with this problem, then you will get, or you will need, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, or maybe 12 sessions, right? Of course, there is an average, and because again we act global, we serve 67 million people. We know how to calculate an average utilization, and so it really doesn't matter that much if we provide a couple of sessions more, because on a global scale, it's, well, not peanuts, right? But it's not that important. And the only additional costs that might occur, I mentioned already, if you in one country think it's very important that your staff, your managers are being trained in recognizing, I don't know, mental issues or social issues, or I don't know what. So any additional training for managers, for example, in groups, we will charge you for those. They are not included in the price pattern that we quoted. So that's something that you should be aware of course, but as for the rest, no hidden costs or whatsoever when you start using it.
Okay, and then my follow-up question is, you may know that our healthcare system in the US is very special. And so I was wondering, like, does this trigger an event on someone's insurance, or just what's the interaction with our healthcare coverage in the US?
Yeah, well, of course, the US is very special, but then again, the Netherlands healthcare system, believe me, is very special also. And then we have the German healthcare. So we are very well aware of the different healthcare systems. But then again, it's very, of course, it's very important to realize that the EAP services, the counseling services, are something on top or next to other treatments, right? I mean, if you are suffering from a person disorder, we're not going to cure this with our psychologists, right? I mean, we are here to help people to deal with all types of things that might occur in your life, be it mental, physical, social, financial. But we are not here to cure diseases, be it physical diseases or mental diseases, right? So it's also always very important, regardless what healthcare system you operate in, to keep that in mind. Does that answer your question, Chelsea?
I think so, and maybe Liz could speak to whether or not it will initiate a claim or not.
Yeah, my question was going to be how many short-term counseling sessions is each employee entitled to, and is there a unlimited number of like incidents? So for instance, I could have an employee that's going to reach out to EAP for maybe, you know, like family issues, and then maybe they have a separate incident that's their own personal issues. And so right now our current program allows them 3 short-term sessions, and then they'll refer them out to someone that's within our healthcare network.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the system that one would choose. The thing we offered is clinically appropriate, which means that the counselor really advises and decides, okay, if you reach out for this, then we think we will get you up and running within 3 or 4 sessions, right?
Okay.
And it is sessions per person, per topic, per year, right? So, for example, someone reaches out to us because they have lack of sleep, sleep deprivation. Okay, we will try and help them get them up and running in a couple of sessions. Then after 2 months, he's very well aware of why he sleeps not very good, because he worries about his relationship. Then we will have some sessions on relationship, and then after maybe again a couple of months, then the relationship still is not okay, and it ends up to be a divorce, and he needs some legal support, maybe, right? So it's not limited to a person per year; it is per issue, per person per year.
And is there like a maximum number per topic?
When it comes to the clinically appropriate model, there's not a maximum.
Okay.
But we could also quote like 3 sessions, 5 sessions, 10 sessions, 12 sessions, if that's something that you would prefer. Yeah. And when it comes to us, we can differ it per country, even the model you would choose. And another question that you asked, Elizabeth, is would we refer to the provider network? Yes, if you want us to refer to provider XYZ, then that's what we will do.
Thank you.
Isabel.
How does the number of sessions relate to family members? Because she also mentioned family members are included.
Yeah, it's the same session model, really. So also clinically appropriate. So, for example, if a daughter or a son or a partner will reach out to us, the way it works is that we will look up what is the session model that we contracted, and they will get really the same.
Okay.
Great questions. You are really aligned. Thank you. More questions?
So the quoted model that you mentioned now a couple of times feels like sort of like a level in terms of like higher, medium, lower kind of support level. Is this the highest level that you quoted?
I think you couldn't say it that way. I mean, in reality, because to be transparent on the pricing model, of course we have we quote and we calculate an average utilization, right? And we can do so quite exact because we serve a lot of people around the globe. So clinically appropriate is just really easy to communicate. From me to you, but also from you as an employer to the employees. But of course, behind the scenes, there is an average utilization that we think that this company in this industry with this amount of people working for it will use. And you're free, of course, to choose the model that you want, be it 3, 5, 7, 10 sessions. But in reality, what we see is in most countries we sell a lot of 5-session models. But I think we do not have an average of 5 sessions when you look at it on a global scale.
I prefer this model. I mean, that you can just be very flexible, for sure. But I just wanted to be sure that also to Chelsea's point that there's no like surprises in terms of additional costs when we like maybe consume more than the average. What will you do typically, right?
Yeah. Well, there is in the contract will be a line that if your average usage will exceed, I don't even know the number, but then we have the right to ask to pay more, right? But I think I can quote a 5-session model. I think I did in the past already. So you can compare them, right? A 3 or 5-session model. But how I learned about PON, my advice would be the clinically appropriate, but you're free, of course, to choose whatever session model. And like I mentioned, you can change it per country also.
Okay. I see we have 5 minutes left. So maybe what I'm really interested in, and you already mentioned it, you can share it, is to get a bit more insight in the actually council network within Telus. So where they are, and also how doable is it that you can actually have face-to-face sessions in such a widespread kind of community that we have. We are in Palm Springs, San Francisco, Denver, Colorado, but also in Valkenswaard and somewhere in Austria. So how do you do that? So that is
Yeah. I will send this afterwards. And don't forget, of course, the reason why we want to have our own feet in the ground in, for example, the EMEA region is especially for this reason, right? And not alone EMEA. I mean, we bought EAP Latina, especially to have more feet on the ground there in that region, of course. And well, for example, in Germany, we bought OTED, a local provider we used to work with. So yeah, this one-to-one sessions in a way gives us a competitive advantage as compared to some other competitors. Yeah.
No, I would fully agree, but then I would also challenge that's actually doable to organize that.
Yeah.
Since the world is quite a large place.
Especially the US, where Chelsea lives and asked the question for, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So is there any kind of question from one of the participants that you really would like to have answered in this session? No. So what we will do, Wouter, is of course we will evaluate. I think Astrid has also shared with you our timeline of the demos that we have, also one in May, and of course probably after this session, and also when people will view the recording, we will come back with any kind of additional questions if we will have them in the coming weeks.
That's great. Yeah. Well, thanks for being present, all, and the great questions.
No, definitely. Thanks to all the colleagues for being really engaged and also asking super clever questions. That's exactly the purpose of this session. So, and thank you, Wouter, all by yourself. I'm impressed that you've been able to engage with us for this session, and we will reach out again.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great day or end of the day, of course.